and gentlemen, welcome to Just Plain Living. I'm John Gray.
Good morning, I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
It's good to see you guys.
And it's fall.
I know, just all of a
Definitely.
sudden it seems
All
like,
of a sudden,
yeah.
fall is here. Look at all the lovely colors and pumpkins and all the different things that happen in
Do you still
fall.
carve pumpkins at your house?
Say what?
Do you still carve pumpkins at your house?
You know, we probably will this year because our street hadn't had any children in about 10 years.
And now you have some?
And now we have some next door neighbors with
That's
two little
fabulous.
children. And, you know, we at one point, Chloe Fuller, who
All right.
lives up at the end of the block, was the only child on the street. So Fran and I just, instead of having them visit, we'd make a Halloween basket and carry it up to Chloe, or an Easter basket and carry it up and leave it on her porch. Because she was the only one there
Yeah.
was
That
on the whole
was pretty
street.
neat for Chloe.
that was neat for Chloe.
Did well.
Yeah.
She did well. She used to remind me of Pippi Longstocking. She was a little bitty, skinny, thin-legged girl. She's cute as a button.
I know.
And she still is.
Yes.
That's a
and
wonderful family, musical
She
family.
plays great saxophone.
Yes.
And I think her dad plays everything.
Her dad, he has a room up there with every kind of instrument that you can think of. And she's in the band, and she won a state
It's that
award.
Fuller tradition.
Yeah, it's a Fuller musical tradition.
Yeah.
You've still got little people in your family.
I've got one little people.
I know.
The other one's grown about 15.
You're,
Isabella's 15.
oh my gosh.
And Brody's what?
Brody's 9.
he's still a
He's
little-
my youngest.
little man.
Not my youngest, but my grandchild.
Well, he's still
And,
little people, sort of.
And Abigail's in Belmont.
Is she loving it?
She's loving it up
Out
there.
in Belmont's a fabulous place for a
Right.
musician.
Yeah.
I'm sure she loves it, and I'm sure they
She's
love
so
her.
very talented.
They are lucky to
very
get her, I got to
talented.
tell you. She's amazing. You know, a pumpkin carving has become a great art.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing some of the things you see.
I saw one the other day was a pumpkin, and on the front of the pumpkin it was cut open, and it had bars, like jail bars, and on the inside was another pumpkin carved like a Trump head.
That's cute.
So, yeah, somebody had him in jail.
Yeah, that's cute.
Some of our viewers are not going to find that funny at all.
Well, I mean, you
It
know.
doesn't matter who's behind the bar.
Get
It's
over
funny.
it, folks. Get over it. Get all that stuff off your sleeve.
Right. And I know John didn't mean that in a bad way.
No, it could have had anybody back there. That
Right.
just goes to show.
Right.
That's the one that was on, I guess, Facebook. Who,
Yeah.
man, they've been through a rough day or two.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
they
right.
were off the. They were out of business for about
I tried real hard not
10 or
to
12
panic about
hours. Because of
because
the,
everything was dead.
And that was a bad thing for a lot of people
Yeah.
with girls, no
I know.
Facebook. Are you kidding me?
What?
And I don't think I ever realized that. I thought I'm not one to be on there a lot. I didn't think, but I must have checked that 10 times
You
yesterday.
still want to
What-
get your information.
Yeah, what
That's
happened
true.
here?
they lost about $10 million an hour.
Unreal.
So
Yeah,
Unreal.
so if you had stock bought in that, I guess it would be a downer. They'll get it back.
nah, they got more money than Ben Gump.
It's a kind of frightening, though. So many people can live without Facebook.
Yeah, we don't talk
Yeah.
about values of companies or anymore like we used to. It was millions, then it was billions, now it's trillions.
It's trillions and
Trillions,
gazillions.
and Facebook certainly in that category.
I'd
so.
say. I wish I was that smart to.
Well, they're
figure
doing.
out.
The thing about it is, they've some whistleblowers all about them right now, and they're in investigation of some of the things, some of their practices that are less than positive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't keep up with it well enough. I know some people say, "Well, I said something on Facebook, and they took me off of Facebook." So evidently, if Facebook doesn't like your political stance or whatever,
They
or
can
something
take you
you
off,
say,
yeah.
they just erase what you put up
Yeah,
there.
it might be a little more complicated than that. I
Probably.
think.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think what they're being accused of is that back during the election, they wouldn't let you do certain things, and there's certain.
Unless it was for the right person.
No, not necessarily. You had to tell the truth, which is tough when you're a politician, but
I love you, Jimmy Fuller.
Anyway.
Telling the truth is tough when you're a politician.
I know.
Well, you know, I ran for office one time many years ago.
Yeah, you did.
And
should have won.
well, we got close, but we learned a lot.
Did you have fake news going on?
Well, no, but at the time, I worked for the American Legion. And the American Legion was known at that time to have gambling and that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, as did a lot of places.
Yeah, and I remember the news media chased me around. I was on leave of absence at that time, but I remember one time the news media chased me around for about 2 days, wanting to ask me about the Legion's involvement in gambling and such, you know. And
You're afraid to speak?
And actually, to tell you the truth, on the defense of the American Legion, any proceeds they got from that sort of thing, they used for charitable purposes.
For good things.
And did a lot of good
Right.
work
Sure
with
did.
it. But I certainly didn't want to talk about that. But they finally caught up with me, and I had to answer that question. I never really answered it, but I evaded it enough that they went on to something else.
But back in that time, a lot of nonprofits did those kind of things. It wasn't like the American Legion or military operations were the only ones that did it. Everybody, the country clubs had slot machines. And,
Right.
you know, there was gambling going on everywhere.
Or reverse draws. You remember?
Sure.
Reverse draws were a big deal at one point. Where it started out, I forget who started it, but it was they were giving away a Cadillac.
Right.
And Cadillac at that time was probably worth 20 grand, maybe 25.
Yeah, about.
And you know, you'd sell 200 tickets, and it was the last one won the Cadillac. You know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that was illegal, but nobody ever said anything.
No.
So.
I never quite understood that, why you couldn't have a raffle. What is
Tennessee law
bad? They just don't-
specifically prohibits that kind of thing.
You
Just like they
have
did
right
bingo,
now
you know,
in
so.
dealing with nonprofits, because my wife's involved with a nonprofit, you have, like say your nonprofit is multi-county cancer. Your organization has the opportunity once a year to go before the state and say, okay, here's what we want to do for a fundraiser, and they will give you permission
Okay.
to do something like that, because for Alzheimer's Tennessee, because we're in a airplane town, I wanted to have, you know, some places they have a golf ball drop,
Yeah.
and they'll take a plane or a helicopter and fly over a golf course, and they'll have a green out there, and everybody will buy a golf ball. You buy a golf ball for $100.
And then if
And
you're-
it drops, and then the closest one to the
closest to
hole,
the-
they all drop at one time. I wanted to do like a hot air balloon drop, get little parachutes and put bean bags and number them and drop them out of a plane out at the airport and have a big target out there. And we couldn't do that because in Knoxville, the home office, they had one of these golf ball drops. And so the organization
It had
doesn't
already
get to
been
do
done.
one thing like that again.
Right, but that law is relatively new. I mean, it's been the last 7, 8 years that
Yeah.
you've actually been able to do that. Prior to that, it was all illegal, pretty much.
Right.
Especially when they outlawed bingo. You know, that pretty much got everything.
Yeah, you fought the bingo wars
I
for
fought
a
the
while.
bingo
didn't you?
wars for a long time. Yeah.
How does
right.
the lottery escape that kind of law?
Well, it's a state, it's owned by the state.
Owned by the
Right.
So it's
Okay.
kind of hard for the state to tell you, you can't have a reverse draw or something when they're selling, when gambling's legal in Tennessee.
Right.
But they do.
But they do.
But
Yeah,
they do.
that's
And,
what
and
I
I always
don't
contended.
understand.
I always contended that in bingo, charitable bingo,
Right.
that you know you got to be present. You got to be in the interacting.
Sure.
There's only so many. There's some skill involved in it.
Right.
Not a lot, but there's some skill. In other words, some people can play 25 bingo cards. Other people can't keep up with that many.
too much,
So some
yeah.
of you, and the longer you do it, you get better at it. So that should exclude it from a lottery type
Right,
situation.
right. It does.
You know, it didn't. But also, I contended that it takes you got to be in the room, and it might take 4 hours to play the whole set of bingo.
Right.
And you can only spend so much money. But in the Tennessee lottery, especially the scratch-off kind, you can spend everything you got. Everything you got.
Every paycheck.
Yeah, you spend your entire paycheck.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand.
You can't do that at bingo because
No.
you physically can't play that in the card. So.
The law baffles my mind.
Well, what's good for Paul's not always good for Peter,
Well, and there's not always logic in it.
No logic at all.
No logic about how.
Speaking about those kind of things, this is something I want to read today. And I read it before, but right now I think it's very important. It's called Decisions. Another night strolling through the darkness, searching for a flicker of light, I passed numerous embers beside the path, each waiting for a breath of life to allow it to ignite, revealing the illumination waiting within. There are many flowers along the way. Which one should I pick and add to my bouquet? Some are right, some are wrong. Some need more attention than others, but would fit beautifully into the arrangement. 'Tis a puzzlement. As always, procrastination becomes the stagnation of creation. So do something. The future is all of its adventures are waiting for a decision. So breathe, exhale, take the next step. You might make some wrong choices, but the only bad choice is no decision. Life is a game where almost everyone gets to go to the next level if you play halfway fair. So forward, my friend. Do something instead of nothing. See what's next. The embers will not stay hot, and the blossom petals will not last forever.
I like that. I like
So
that.
Very good.
Do
very
something.
much. Yeah.
And that's what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to have a
We're
show
getting ready to have
That's
to do
right.
something.
after these quick commercial messages.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
Macarthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at Macarthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at Macarthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good, nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As most of you probably know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and appropriately, we have joining us from Vanderbilt Tullahoma Harton, two people that know a little bit about that, and I'm pleased to have with me to my left is Nikki Thompson, and to her left is the Director of Imaging at Vanderbilt Tullahoma, and her name is Mary Thompson. Welcome to the show, girls.
Thank you.
Nikki Thomas.
Nikki Thomas.
What did I say?
Thompson.
Oh.
we could be sisters.
I knew that I was going to get that messed up before this. Okay, this is definitely Nikki.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, breast cancer awareness is something that everybody should be concerned about because I'm sure it touches a lot of people in this world. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do there at Harton.
Well, I am the breast center supervisor, and I do the mammograms there, and we just want to encourage women ages 40 and older to get their yearly mammogram because 1 in 8 women get breast cancer.
Oh my goodness, that's...
Yes, but if it's caught early enough, it's a 5-year survival rate of 98%. So that's great if you get your yearly mammograms and catch it early.
And I bet a lot of ladies don't do that. They don't get that annual mammogram because they don't want to know. They're afraid to find the results.
Sure.
But 98% is an incredible cure rate.
Oh yes, sir. It's come a long way for sure. Certainly the cures that they have for cancers now has come a long way. Mm-hmm. And then also the technology with mammograms has come a long way. And we just recently installed and launched 3D mammograms at Vanderbilt Tullahoma, and it's going really well. I think there's some statistic out there about how much more the 3D mammograms are catching the early cancers. And so that's a really good thing, too, for us to be able to do that.
3D is probably pretty important, is it not? Because that's almost like an MRI, is it not? And I don't know, so correct me.
It's similar to a CT, I would say, but to explain it easily, it's like the difference between a 2D and a 3D. Like if you have a book, mm-hmm. and the 2D sees the cover of the book, but the 3D sees all the pages in between. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot more information out there mm-hmm. for the radiologist to be able to see what he needs to see.
So what were you using before? An X-ray kind of?
2D.
2D.
The book
okay.
cover.
Okay, right, the book cover. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the sense of it being like MRI, it's very much more detail. So the radiologist is getting a lot more detail, just like he would with an MRI. Mm-hmm. However, the imaging being all the pages in the book is relative to CD or mm-hmm. CT. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about, you mentioned that there are a lot of new treatments today, and the 98% cure rate is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But talk a little bit about what sort of treatments they have now.
Well, there's several things. There's the biopsy. First, if there was something detected,
if they suspect something, they would do it.
Yes, sir. They would start with the biopsy, mm-hmm. And then determine whether or not it involves any lymph nodes, mm-hmm. and then it would be your standard cancer treatment with chemo and radiation if they saw that was necessary.
Mm-hmm. How the cure rate at 98% is phenomenal to me. Has that's improved dramatically, I think, in the last several years, has it not?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially with the new technology, especially with mm-hmm. the new 3D machine. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned a woman should start getting mammograms at 40?
Age 40.
Age 40, okay.
Yes, sir.
And
those are the ones that are probably most likely not, their doctor suggests it. Sometimes they, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but usually about the 50, 55 mark is where they really start doing it.
Well, I'd like to add also that a lot of people think that they don't have a family history, that they shouldn't or don't necessarily, excuse me, need a mammogram. But 85% of cancers detected, people do not have a family history of.
how much? What is the percent?
85%.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So if you start at 40, is there an age where you don't need to take those anymore? No.
Well, that's a little bit.
As you get older, your chances are more likely to get it. So it increases with age. So they recommend, as long as you're willing and able and to do it, to go ahead and get it done.
Okay. So if someone would like to, and of course, obviously you guys do that at Vanderbilt Hardin, but so if somebody needs to or would like to get one, maybe hadn't had one before, what is the procedure? How do they go about doing that at Vanderbilt Hardin?
Well, you don't need an order for a screening mammogram.
You don't need a doctor's order?
No, so you can just call our scheduling department and schedule one. So, and that's, the number is 461-4800.
Oh, okay. How long does it typically take to get in to get a mammogram?
Usually just a couple of weeks.
Okay. And so the follow-up, suppose you do find, I assume they're read by somebody, the results
The
are...
radiologist.
A radiologist, okay. And they then contact the patient, and if there is an issue?
We would send the patient a letter and we send the results to their doctor, and they usually contact the doctor, and then the doctor would contact the patient.
I see.
So even though you don't have to have an order for the mammogram, we still have to have a provider to send the results to.
I see.
Someone has to follow up with the patient's care.
Okay.
So it's very easy process really, but we do have to have a provider to send the results
And
to.
I assume, like any other procedure, early detection is huge in this, is it not?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you probably are a little bit apprehensive if you're a woman needing to have this done. Would it be presumptuous of me to say that it doesn't hurt a lot? There's not a lot of pain involved in this procedure.
Well, it has gotten more comfortable. We now have what's called a curved paddle, and it does make it a little bit more comfortable with the new machine. So, and it depends. Some people it's painful, some people it's not, but hopefully it's not terrible because it's only lasts a few seconds.
Okay, all right. So it's not anything you should be afraid of.
No.
Well, sometimes it's not a bad thing. It's necessary.
Right.
To be sure to get the good images. But again, like she said, all of our mammographers are very experienced and do a great job. They're very quick, so it's not a bad experience at all.
Right. Okay. Now they said that. I didn't say that. As I asked that question, I thought that might be not something a man should say. Oh, it's not going to hurt, But you heard it from them. So, and I know
there are some men that have to have mammograms.
I had not thought of that, but men get breast cancer as well.
Yes, sir.
Do they not?
Yes, sir.
Do you see a lot of men patients?
I wouldn't say a lot, right, Nikki?
No, I wouldn't say a lot, but yes, we do see a few here and there.
And is the procedure for men the same as women?
Is.
So the process is
pretty much, but you don't. The men don't get an annual screening mammogram. Typically they have something that they see their doctor about, and then
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep that in mind, guys. I hadn't since this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it does happen probably more than you think if you're a man, because you don't think about that too much. Well, girls, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you for having us.
And again, if you this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and encourage all you women and men, if you have an issue, but to get that annual screening. And as I just mentioned again, it's you just call the hospital and schedule that. And who did you say you needed to call at the hospital?
We have a scheduling department.
Did we give them the phone number for that, or did we know that?
We did. It's a 461-4800.
Okay.
Very easy.
Yeah, 461-4800. So very easy to do, and something everybody should be aware of. As we and keep in mind also that we're talking about a 98% cure rate. A lot of that has to do, I'm sure, it is more helpful if you detect it early.
Yes.
So,
Yes, sir.
girls, thank you so much for coming by and
Thank you
sharing
for
that
having us.
information with
Thank
us today.
you.
We'll be right back in a moment, right after this.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and my buddy Laurel's here today. And what in the world do you have going on? You always have something good going on.
Well, I am talking about Celebrate Babies Week today. That is what I'm here for.
Wait
Celebrate
a minute.
babies.
Babies?
Babies.
All kinds of babies?
All kinds of babies.
Well, exactly why shouldn't we not celebrate babies anyway?
Well, we want to make sure that we're intentional about celebrating babies and all the things that we do for babies in Coffee County and all across Tennessee. And so that's why the Association of Infant Mental Health in Tennessee has declared Celebrate Babies Week, October 18th through 22nd.
So, let me get this. The parents usually celebrate babies, but this is an opportunity for the rest of us to realize that a lot of babies maybe don't get exactly what they need at that position or stage of life, and there's help needed for caregiving.
Yes,
and
essential.
Possibly somewhere to be, and possibly good food or the proper type of nourishment.
Nutrition, child abuse prevention, education for parents, not just mothers, but also fathers. We have so many support systems in Coffee County and Tennessee, and we just make sure that we appreciate them, we support all of them, and we as a community just love all the babies in the best way that we can.
Everybody says, oh, isn't he cute? Isn't she cute? The issue is, I heard a guy on a television show say the other day, one guy was talking about having a baby, and the other guy said, I'm getting ready to have a baby, and the other guy said, it doesn't make any difference. My wife and I read all the books. We thought we were prepared. You'll never be prepared for what's going to happen, but you do need to educate yourself as best you can, but there'll always be a twist and a turn.
Yes.
And something that will possibly cause you to need help in a way that you really don't know where to go. And what you're doing is talking about a place where they can go and what they can do, where they can go to learn what they need to learn.
We have child care. We have a lot of programs out there that I want to make sure everybody appreciates what they do. Lots of people that you've talked to, like CASA, like the Children's Advocacy Center, like Centerstone's Early Childhood Program, like the hospital that just left. They've got lots of educational program. They have a breastfeeding support group. There are so many programs, and our early childhood professionals that take care of the babies here in Tullahoma and Coffee County and all around. They really need to be appreciated for what they do. It takes a village to raise these babies, so we're celebrating them, we're loving them, we're making sure they have all the resources that they need.
You know, and you said something a minute ago, and I know we deal with abuse in many ways in our society, but you never really think about abuse of a baby. But yet, there are situations where people get frustrated and don't understand and don't know what to do, and there might be some other issues in the home where there are abuse problems. It might be a drug abuse problem, an alcohol abuse problem, and terrible things happen to babies.
People don't intend for it to happen, but it does. And that's why I brought this book here. It's called Calm Baby Gently. And it's all about being able to keep yourself calm while that baby's getting frustrated and crying and has all of these needs. It's a cute little baby book, but it has tips on here of what to do when the baby cries so you don't get frustrated. And the Literacy Council bought some of these books for our community baby shower a few years ago. And,
great.
and we gave them out at the community baby shower, but I still have a few more if anybody wants any of these books. This one's called Calm Baby Gently, and we have another one called Sleep Baby Safe and Snug, because we want the babies to be in safe sleep arrangements for that first year, because we want to prevent SIDS, and we do have a high infant mortality rate in Tennessee, and we want to do everything we can do to prevent that. And that's where these two cute little baby books come in. So if anybody wants any of these baby books, they can contact me.
Now, I want you to do something for me, because you're a person with a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, and I think I might know what SIDS is, but I think a lot of people out there, maybe in our audience, don't really know what that is. And so, quickly, what is SIDS?
It is sudden infant death syndrome, and it is something that they don't know a lot about, but the latest research says that it's an enzyme in the brain that causes it, and we don't know this at birth. And that's why we need to and make sure that any risk factor associated with it is cut down as much as possible. And so that's why we want to put babies on their back to sleep, because more babies that die of SIDS are on their stomach or some other position. Now, if it's truly SIDS, it is unexplained. Now, sometimes you can explain a death. Maybe a child had been smothered by a blanket or a pillow or a stuffed animal. We want to keep all of those out of the crib. So, but with SIDS, basically the baby goes to sleep and they just never wake up. They get into such a deep sleep. And again, they think that it's caused by some kind of enzyme in the brain.
Thank you.
And I've got
I knew you'd know.
I've got a lot of information on that also. This is from the National Institute of Health, Safe Sleep for Babies. It's lots of other guidelines and lots more information than what I just gave to you in a nutshell right there.
Sure.
So,
Well, I just can't thank you enough for coming and doing what you do. You know, you are, Laurel's one of our standbys because she's always working in some kind of good project around this area, and most of it's to do with children and literacy, and a lot of that good stuff that happens around here that makes Tullahoma and Coffee County and our area as great a place to live as it is, and you're one of the spark plugs.
well, thank you. Do you know how many children or babies are born in Tennessee each year?
No.
80,000. So we have 80,000 babies being born in Tennessee every year. And so we want to celebrate those babies on Celebrate Babies Week, October 18th through the 22nd. And I celebrate babies, baby superheroes. We have lots of baby superheroes in Coffee County, including child care providers and all those support systems that we have out there for the babies. I forgot to mention Safe Baby Court is a big one too.
Okay, last question. What makes a baby not a baby anymore? What change, is there an age that changes from a baby to a toddler?
In my line of work, infants and toddlers, well, infants is about up to 1 year. Then they become a toddler when they start toddling. So that's not an exact age. But 2.5 is when they become a preschooler. So birth to 2.5 is an infant or toddler. And beyond 2.5, they're already becoming a preschooler age.
Right.
In my line of work, that's how we define it.
And when you decide we love babies, you're talking about up to 2.
Yes.
2.5.
Those little ones. We love all of them, of course.
But that's where they're in danger.
That's where they are more vulnerable.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Laurel, thank you very much for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you again with some more great information.
Thank you. Celebrate babies.
Celebrate babies.
I am tremendously blessed to be living at Parkview and very happy to be part of a loving and caring community.
Best thing you can say is this really a great place to live. That's all there is to it, no doubt about that.
It's your home. You just do what you would if you were at your private home. You know, we love it. It's great.
It's just like having a whole neighborhood around you, and it's fun.
It's just a great place to live.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for 1. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
I am so blessed to have somebody here from Horseplay again. I have Holly Holder. Hey, Holly.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
It's nice to see you.
I understand there's a lot of things been going on. I've been reading about the horse trail ride. How did that go?
Oh, it was nice. We had a 4-day event at the Bolo Club in Sherwood, and it was just beautiful. The fall weather, everything cooperated.
Just one of those days that worked out.
Yes.
And Holly is with Horseplay, and if you don't know what it is Horseplay does, let's briefly tell the audience what Horseplay is about.
Okay. Well, we are a therapeutic riding center for children with disabilities. We work with parents on personal goals that their children have to increase and improve their lives and provide recreation. So we work on fine motor skills. We work on increasing or decreasing their tone, having fun, confidence.
And I always think about a child that might be in a wheelchair when they're riding a horse. They've got legs.
Oh, yes.
And that's a beautiful sight.
Oh, yes.
I've never seen a child at the Horseplay event that's not smiling when they're on the horse.
We have the best time at Horseplay.
I know you do. And I didn't mean to override the horse event you just had, but I know you did that as a fundraiser this year.
Yes.
And did you have a great turnout?
Yes, for the trail ride. Yes, we had. I'm not quite sure how many came. I think around maybe 100.
That's
so
good.
It was a good event.
That's great, Miss. Your leader in getting fundraising,
Yes, Miss Loretta.
Miss Loretta
Yes.
is fabulous at going
Yes,
out
she
and
is.
getting things done. So we need to give her some accolades today
Yes.
for all the work she does.
We appreciate everything.
What actually is it that you do, Holly?
I am an instructor as well as program director. So I work with the students on horseback teaching riding lessons. And I also help put the schedule together and just do all the work around the farm, just working with the horses.
So it keeps you busy all the time.
Oh, very.
I wonder if
yes.
you still have those cats.
We do. We've got 2 of them.
I love those little cats.
2 little black cats.
Yeah.
They're the best.
They're sweet. And I wondered if you're still looking for volunteers.
We are always on the search of volunteers.
That's what I thought.
I will never turn a volunteer away. Our volunteers are the backbone of our program.
Absolutely.
If we didn't have them, we couldn't provide these services for the children. So we.
And there must, and I don't think you ask an awful lot from your volunteers. They can pick their times, I would think.
Yes, we have plenty of options.
If they have 2 hours on Thursday, then you probably can find something for them
sure.
to do.
Yes, we have scheduled times where they can just come out and help with barn chores, but we also have times that they can work with the children, and there's a
That's
variety
great.
to choose from.
Yeah. So when a person is working, does a child ever ride alone or
Oh, sure. Our goal is independence, so
Good.
we try to make them as independent as possible. And so we might start out with a sidewalker and a leader, and then over the course of the 8 weeks, they we may dismiss the volunteer from helping the child, but we always ask them to stick close by in case they need some help.
Now, I know you all do something at Calisonic Arena every year.
The horse show.
The horse show.
Yes, we did the Horseplay Kids Show. It wasn't at the Calisonic, it was at the Coffee County Fairgrounds, but it was a really nice event. We had about 114 entries.
Wow.
And we made about $23,000, so it was
that
really
I would
nice.
say I would
yes.
do. So do you do that every year?
This is, I think, the third annual one we've done.
So y'all need to struggle to do that again next
year.
Yes,
we do. And we just wanted to give a special thanks to the Jacob company for Jacob Brothers, for coming out and getting everything set up for us for the arena.
That it's a huge job.
Yes.
You know, it's easy to say we're going to do this, but then you got to have a team that puts it together.
Right. Yes.
And that's where the volunteers come in, or the sponsors. I know you have some great sponsors.
We do. We are so appreciative to our sponsors.
And you may not be able to name them all, but if anybody wants to offer a sponsorship, there's the the website and the phone number, right? And you can just call and tell what you want to do. I know you're always looking for donations.
Yes.
Are y'all still selling bricks?
We are. We still are selling bricks for our patio. It's not gone in yet, but we're working on that. And they're $75, and you can personalize it.
And so you can put any name on it you want.
Any name. It can be in memory of a special horse or a person, or.
I always wondered, where do you get the horses?
We actually take them on a borrow agreement. People will contact us if they think they have a horse that's suitable for the program, and maybe their child went away to college and they don't want to sell him, but they want him to
taken
work.
care of.
Yeah. So we'll take them if they're a good fit for us. We'll take them on trial, and if we like them, we'll keep them until it's time to retire, and then they'll go back home.
But you know, on occasion, I will see a horse all alone in a lot, and I think to myself, that horse needs to be at horseplay.
Oh, yeah.
So he can have a friend.
Yes.
I think horses, like any other animal or person, needs someone with them.
They do.
So I may stop one day and say, you could loan this for a while. But what happens, I often wondered what happens to the horses in the winter.
Oh, we take care of them. We have a barn manager who comes every day to make sure that they're fed, watered. They have blankets and hay. So we're always up there checking on them.
So are you ever needing hay?
We could always use hay.
Because I was just thinking about things that people could give that don't have a lot of money. They could give hay, maybe feed for the horses.
Yes, we do have a particular feed we feed them, but we get that at Tractor Supply. So
Tractor Supply, you just got a good ad.
Yeah.
They do nice work too.
Oh yes.
And so in this, you're closing at the end of October.
Yes.
No more riding until when do you open up in the spring?
We'll open up probably late March or early April. It just depends on
the weather, sort of.
Yes, the weather.
And how many trainers do you have? Do you still need trainers?
We have 2 instructors and 1 in training, so she's going to get certified.
Holly, how'd you get interested in doing horses?
Oh gosh, I've loved them ever since I was a little girl. So a special friend of mine volunteered at Horseplay, and she knew I had a little horse knowledge. So she asked me to come out, and I just never left. I loved it.
So you've been there in how long?
Probably since about 2016.
Yeah, I remember. I think you came with Miss Loretta when you first signed up.
Yes.
And she was real proud to get you.
Oh, yeah.
And bragged on you a lot.
We're proud of her.
I tell you, I've never seen anybody work so hard.
She's the hardest worker.
She won't let you say no.
No.
And that's what it takes. Anyway, we all love horseplay, and I love what it does for not only for the community as a giving community to help support an organization that loves children and helps them to develop in many capacities. And so it's about time for us to sign off, but thank you for coming. Thank you for what you do, Holly, and we hope you'll come back.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be back with something else.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
I'm John Rickman.
And I'm Pat Welch, and here today with Conversation with John and Pat, segment 29, It Shall Be Fine.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Everybody out there, be kind.
John, we had to really stretch last segment to somehow tie your song to the program. Will it be another challenge today?
It's hard to learn a song for everything that we talk about. So let's just like two shows, the music show and then the talk.
And it doesn't necessarily have to tie.
No,
I understand.
No. I'm going to do one, Pat. You've never heard this. John Gray's never heard it. People out there have never heard it because I wrote it years ago, and that's where it stayed, just in my
recesses of your mind.
my little mind. And if I can do it right, I think it's a cute little song.
Okay.
We'll find out. You know, every song in Chapel Hill and Marshall County is about an animal. This is about a flogging rooster. I'm so proud I was raised up in the country. Living on the farm's one thing I don't regret. I made friends with the billy goat, the bull, and the mule, but I ain't figured out that flogging rooster yet. I'd be out in the hen house gathering up the eggs when that flogging rooster'd take me by surprise. He would fly down on my head with wings a-flapping, pecking at me, trying his best to spur out both my eyes. When I heard that rooster crow, it was like a battle cry. He'd strut around just sticking out his chest. And what time he wasn't fighting, he'd chase chickens through the barnyard. But I do believe that he liked fighting best. I remember the frustrations of looking out the back door and the games that flogging rooster used to play. I'd be needing in the outhouse, but I dare not take a step with that flogging rooster standing in the way. He'd lost nearly all his feathers from a million different fights, the meanest little bird I ever knew. I told my mama if she'd catch it, I'd use my little hatchet and we could dine on flogging rooster stew. When I heard that rooster crow, it was like a battle cry. Strut around just sticking out his chest. And what time he wasn't fighting, he'd chase chickens through the barnyard. But I do believe that he liked fighting best.
I'm not too sure why in the world you buried that in the recess of your mind, John. That's a great song.
Well, sometimes you just don't think about the song, and maybe someday I'll start making that a part of our repertoire. You know, Jimmy, Phil, and I, us two and him, we don't use big words for our song list, but I think repertoire.
One of those, I can understand why.
We don't want to overdo, making it more than it should be.
You gave me a lot more of a segue this time than you did the previous segment, John. Yeah, that's one of my good friends from playing golf is Kenny Pack. And if you get him riled up enough, he's like a flogging rooster. So we'll go right into a conversation about the Packs. And this week, I don't know if you noticed, John, but there was a really, really nice article in the Nashville Tennessean about the Mr. Bill Pack and his 5 sons and what they've meant in football officiating, and also they did a lot of softball and basketball officiating. But primarily they're known for the football. And I think Philip's got a picture of Mr. Bill Pack Sr. He was raised in Tullahoma, was a great salesman for Wilson Golf Equipment. And he was a really, really good man. And I've been corrected again. He was McGregor Golf Equipment.
If you come prepared, Pat, you maybe would know that.
Yeah, let's see if we can't do. Well, I'll try not to mess up any more on this one. That's so bad. Mr. Pack went in the service at World War II and met Ms. Pack, I believe, at some USO festivities in New Jersey, and brought her to town, and had 6 children. The first 5 were all boys. All of them were good athletes. And Mr. Pack started refereeing some, I think, while he was still in high school, and as soon as he got back from the war, he was really involved in refereeing. And when I would begin to really know him, would have been the late 70s. I was coaching at Battle Grant Academy, and Mr. Pack was just almost legendary at that time. And he'd been calling for several decades, and some young feisty guy in his 20s or 30s that thought he knew everything about football, and he'd coached in 100 football games or something. Well, just being around Mr. Pack, you knew you need to keep your mouth shut. Mr. Pack had refereed for 5 decades, and he had such a great demeanor. He was absolutely easygoing, completely in control, and at some of the most hated times of a ball game where there might be a questionable call or something, he just could put you completely at ease, or maybe you wish you weren't at ease. But he had such a, and his rulings were final, and nobody questioned. He didn't escalate a situation. He was just so calm.
He was a gentleman.
He really was.
Really was.
He's been elected, and his son Kenny has been elected to the state association, the TSSAA, their Hall of Fames, and Mr. Pack's been inducted in the National High School Association Hall of Fame for his contributions to refereeing. And Kenny and I think some of his other brothers have called OVC games, Ohio Valley Conference games. Kenny for a long time was a official there, and they called with some really top-notch officials that were from Middle Tennessee, Burl Crowell, Gabby Street, those kind of people. And they would have called SEC games and SEC basketball games, and the stories that Kenny could tell about refereeing trips, and the stories that those guys came along were pretty incredible. Show that that's the Mr. Pack and his 5 sons called at least 2 games that I know of together, and that I don't think has ever been done ever in U.S. high school history. And let me see if I can identify the ones on the 2 on the far right that look similar, or the reason why they look similar, they're identical twins, Bob and Dick Pack. Bob lives in Lebanon, and a lot of the interview from the Tennessean was conducted with him. And Dick is next from the right, second from the right. He lives in Tullahoma now. And then next, coming from the right again, is Pat, who's the youngest of those 5 brothers. And then Mr. Pack there, of course. And then Bill, or Billy, or Bill Jr., lives in Chattanooga. And then on the far side is Kenny, our golfing buddy, and akin to the flogging rooster. And we were so fortunate to have had them in Tullahoma, and to be honest, the state is fortunate to have them refereeing. I think every one of those boys has called at least one state final football game, and several of them have called several of those.
Jenny, the daughter, is a closing agent. She access title here in town,
Right.
and she's a great closing agent
Right.
too. So
And anybody
let's
that's
give her a little credit.
Yeah, everybody is a fine. Well, she probably can referee between the agents and the purchaser and so forth.
Good people.
That's right.
Mr. Pack used to work on scoreboards too. I remember
He
having
did.
him over at East years ago.
He did.
A few times along the way, and we had a scoreboard problem. He would work on that. He was a man of many talents, and but we're going to have to wind up.
He was a consummate salesman, John, calm, just like he was refereeing, and he sold for McGregor.
What I like your little story about him one time having a buyer for an answer putter.
He bought a putter from me, and I thought I'd made $1 million, and he had that thing sold for about twice that much in 48 hours, and I'd rather not talk about that anymore, John. And that's the end of segment 29. It was fine.
It was fine.
What does caring look like? This is what caring looks like.
This is setting an example for others.
This is rising to the challenge.
This is doing what works.
This is doing my part.
This is doing your part.
Each of us individually.
Acting as one. Keeping your distance, no matter how awkward it may seem.
This is wearing a mask.
Over your nose and mouth.
Like we are.
Keeping our distance.
Each wearing masks.
Not under your chin.
Not above your head.
Not in your hand, but over your nose and mouth.
This is listening to the expert. If you'll just
Wear one of these.
Caring makes community.
And this is what caring looks like.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
The food at Parkview, well, I haven't had a bad meal there yet.
The food at Parkview is absolutely scrumptious. I mean, it is really good. It's just like home cooking.
And then there are the cookies. Oh my, they bake cookies every day, and they are super.
The food is truly incredible, and it's like being on a cruise ship.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I am so lucky. I have one of my most favorite people in the world on the set with me today, Colleen Saunders, who is with South Jackson Civic Center today, worn out because she's been working day and night for several months. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Oktoberfest, and it's coming up next week.
It's coming up Saturday.
This week.
This week. It's October 9th, and we have a whole lot of things that are going on. We have a new band that will be coming this year, the Happiness Band. They're out of Nashville. They are really a good polka band, so I hope you can never have too much polka.
Yeah, I know, you gotta get ready to polka.
So we got to get ready to dance. We will be doing a lot of contests, and of course, there's not an Oktoberfest without beer. So we do have beer. We have some sponsors. NAS is sponsoring Cherokee, of course, and they will be bringing all of their beer and different things. We will be serving wine as well as George Dickel again this year, like we have done in the previous years.
Now, these things are for sale, right?
These things are for sale.
But it's free to get into the event.
Free to get into the event, and there are vendors. There will be food vendors and there will be craft vendors.
What kind of food do you think we'll have?
Well, I know we've got barbecue coming, and we've got donuts. Mrs. O's Donuts are coming, so if you want to come out and have some sweet treats. We also have a lady that's coming from Winchester who has a foreign exchange student staying with her who is German, and they're doing what they're saying is a traditional German fast food.
I love that.
It's called currywurst. So we will be having some bratwurst and different German-inspired things as well. And she was real excited about it because of her foreign exchange student.
What time's it open?
It opens at noon. It will go till 8. Kat Murray's our MC, best MC around.
Kat's a good one.
She really is, and she'll be helping set up the contest and things, which we have several contests as well. A bratwurst eating contest. That's hard to say, sorry.
It always makes me laugh because the people that get into it get really excited about it.
They do, and they get really into it, and they eat a lot of brats.
A lot of brats, absolutely.
We do have an adult and a children's costume contest. So put on your best German outfit, or you can even bring Halloween if you want to. Just put on a costume and join the costume contest. There's also a yodeling contest for children and adults. So if you're 16 and up and know how to yodel, come on out. If you're a kid and know how to yodel, come on out too. We had quite a few not last year, but the last year we had it, which
practice your yodeling skills so that you'll be ready to yodel.
Oh yes, and stein hoisting. You got to know how to hold that stein up full. And we will do that for men and for women as well. We do have a dog costume contest, so if you have a dachshund or a schnauzer or something that's any size dog you would like to come put in your dog costume contest.
Dress up your dog. Let's get the dog contest going. So there'll be a prize for that.
There's a prize for all of these things. Everything has a prize.
That's wonderful.
And we'll have a live auction for several things that have come from Cherokee Distributing. Also Samuel Adams has sent us some things. So we have a lot of Oktoberfest type things for the live auction, as well as some things that have come from
So bring
local
a little money
businesses.
with you.
Yes, but we do take checks, cash and credit card.
Okay.
We can do that. We do have a special guest appearance by the kids that are going to be in Sound of Music. We have the Von Trapp kids, and Maria are going to come and sing an Oktoberfest type song. So it's got a little yodeling in it, so if you've seen the movie, you probably know which song it is. And they will be there. Cornhole will be available all day. Probably not have a contest, but it's there for everybody to play and have a good time.
That's wonderful. Are we still looking for vendors?
Yes, we can always use more vendors, food or craft vendors. We can always, we're nonprofit, we can always use more sponsors. So if you're interested at all, just give the Civic
And so
Center
if you
a call.
want to rent a space, how much does that cost?
The merchandise vendors are $60. The food vendors are $75. If you want to bring your food truck, we're going to put it in the food trucks are going to be in the roundabout.
Okay.
So they'll be on the pavement. We know that the food trucks, some of them are fairly heavy, and one year we had some rain, and boy,
And
they
luckily
didn't
we
like
have nice pavement now.
We do, and
that's helpful.
so we will do that, and we'll have a tent set up with tables and lots of Oktoberfest music.
Now people always ask, is this rain or shine? Well, I think it is, and if it pours rain, then we pack up and go inside the building.
We pack up and go inside. We did have some really severe rain one year, and we did go inside. We put the band on the stage and the vendors all up and down the hall, so it was great.
And it works either way. We like it outside if the weather's pretty. And
right.
I'm going to say something. You've got behind you Seymour. Can you see him? I was looking at him the whole time. Now I don't see him. Where'd he go? But anyway, that comes from the art. There he is.
There he is.
He comes from the Art Center, and we want to thank them for loaning us that Seymour.
It's a little scary sitting here with Seymour behind me because Seymour eats people.
The Civic Center puts on many theater productions, and Sound of Music is our next one, isn't it?
The Sound of Music is in November,
and
the
so
first 2 weekends in November.
We want to make sure that I think that's going to be a sellout, so tickets probably need to be bought early.
Yes, we really enjoy doing plays and also bringing in great people like Craig Terry, who came in a week or so ago, and it was most magnificent performance.
I loved when he gave credit to his town and community for the sponsoring the arts and keeping the theater alive and putting musicians on stage, and that was a wonderful thing to do. So, and Colleen has so much to do with everything that happens at South Jackson, and I can't thank you enough. But we do hope that you'll come out for Oktoberfest, which is Saturday. So show up at 12, and do you still need some volunteers to help?
I always need volunteers. Just give us a call, or you can send an email to the southjackson.org, and it's office@southjackson.org. We're checking it probably every 2 or 3 hours to see if
and the office is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 until 4. And a good time to pick up tickets, or you can go online. No, do you get your tickets online?
You don't have to have tickets.
No tickets.
We don't have to have tickets for this, but tickets are online.
But anyway, there's so much going on, and so much gratitude I have for Colleen and everybody that's volunteering at South Jackson Civic Center. So don't forget the Oktoberfest. We're excited and we want to have fun. So
yes, we do, and
let's
we will.
get together and polka.
Yes, let's do.
We'll be back.
Partners for Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Hello, this is Janie Price. When my husband Ray Price would tour across the country, his favorite place to dine was Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations. His favorite thing to order was the Uncle Herschel.
And the beauty of it all is forever, you'll be holding me to.
I miss Ray dearly, and I'm so proud that his last album, Beauty Is, The Final Session, is available at his favorite restaurant.
A love affair to remember.
The project includes a duet with Martina McBride and harmony vocals from Vince Gill. Ray believed this to be the best recording he had ever made.
Oh, I wish I was 18 again.
I think you'll agree when you pick up your copy of Beauty Is, The Final Sessions at a Cracker Barrel Old Country Store location near you, or at crackerbarrel.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm glad to have a couple of really good gals on here with me today. My friend Julia Logan Mays, and I'm sorry,
Pat Howard.
Pat. And you're with Hospice, Compasses. Hospice, Compasses.
Just
Compasses, Hospice. But you do hospice work.
Compasses, Hospice, and Palliative Care.
And palliative care.
Yes.
And you're getting ready to have, look at here, folks, in color, a 25, y'all are 25 years old?
Yes, we are only 25.
Y'all really look good for 25.
Thank you.
I wish all those 25-year-old girls looked as good as y'all do.
Thank you, John. You're so
25 years of Compasses. And give us a little, going to have a ribbon cutting, and tell us, it's going to be a little bit different. Get back in there.
It
Where
is,
you
COVID and everything, and we're healthcare, and so we would have loved to have a big shindig and had a big chamber coffee, hosted that, but we just felt like we can't do it right now because of COVID.
Right.
So we're going to do a little something different. We're going to have a drive-by coffee and donuts.
So that'd be just like going through the drive-through, except you get to help celebrate something important.
That's right. So we're just so blessed to have been here celebrating our 25th year and kind of wanted to come on and tell our story of the connection that we hold with Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. Because that's really truly where we were born.
Where it all started.
As you well know, many years ago,
We were
because
part of
you
it.
and Fran were very involved with Mary and Dick Weiss.
And Dick Weiss, yes.
So do you want to tell a little bit about your part of that?
No, I mean, it's just, my mother and dad both had to go to the hospital to die and had to leave home, and I think my mom was 3 days after she left home. And she passed, and there was nothing else you could do around here because there was no way you could get relief, pain relief, and the kind of care you needed. And Mary and Dick came to town, and Wise, and found out that there was no hospice here. And Dick being a ENT, and Mary being a nurse of many qualifications and letters after her name. I don't know what all that means, but the more letters you get, I guess, then the more you know. So we went before the state legislature, and Mary and Dick and Fran and I went before the state legislature and pled our case for a hospice of the Highland Rim to start. And originally we were in 6 counties, and then let's see, a live hospice out of Nashville was out further west than where we were, and they had a new director who decided he wanted a bedded facility, so they pulled out of 6 counties and left them high and dry and went back and built a bedded facility in Nashville. And so we went back to the state legislature and petitioned to pick up those other 6 counties that had no care, no support, no help. And so that's how the whole thing kind of started up.
Right. It's definitely a history lesson, and I thank you for sharing that. Mary Weiss did hire me in 2006, and at that point, maybe in late 2005, she had just sold to Community Hospices of America, although she still remained executive director through that year. And then at that point, she started the focus on Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. So then we sort of split ways, where we were still continuing to see patients, providing care here in Tullahoma with these 6 counties, and in Columbia with the 6 counties we service there. We also have another office in Lawrenceburg now. that serves 3, and then Columbia serves 3. But then the foundation was geared toward just a charity organization. So you should probably talk a little bit about that, and then we'll come back around to this opening. What we're doing.
And we started in 2009, and we serve now 7 counties up to Warren County with patients who are on hospice. It doesn't matter which hospice organization they choose. We help them financially with electricity and food are our main 2 things that we help with, but there's also sometimes a special need. They might need a ramp built or a room air conditioning or something that,
right.
And we help out with that also, but our main focus is to raise money for these hospice organizations to help them, and we're going to be having our 5K fundraiser October 23rd out at Tims Ford State Park.
That's not the turkey trot, is it?
It is. It is the turkey trot.
All right, all you turkeys, you get out there and give us a little information on that. And it's October the 23rd, and check in and all that stuff. And is there a donation or a cost? There's a cost involved.
It costs $35 per individual, or if you have a team of 5, it'll cost $100, which would be $20 a piece. Check-in starts at 7:30. The race begins at 9. You can go on our website at www.hospiceofthehighlandrimfoundation.org and get an application. You can register there. If you want a t-shirt, you need to have the registration turned in before noon on this Friday, October the 8th, so I can turn in my order.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else.
It's very family friendly.
Right.
Bring your kids and
you can do
strollers.
the 1 mile fun run. Just you can walk the whole thing if you'd like to just walk.
Right there is the sign up sheet, right off the website. Real easy to do, even for somebody as old as I am. I was able to go on there and get this and print it out.
That's right.
So and you can fill it out there as well.
And we do on the website. We take credit cards. You can do through PayPal. But PayPal will link you to any credit card that you want to use. You can pay that way, or you can mail in your check to 101 Bragg Circle.
And sponsors?
We're also looking for donations for our 1st and 2nd place runners. We have 14 different categories to give out trophies or a gift to the 1st and 2nd place winners. So if you have a donation that you would like to do, you can also give us a call at 563-7439.
All right.
And we do have a special raffle that we're going to be doing. It's all about them, really. The money that's raised, that anytime that, let me go back to this too, because this is important. Sometimes people, when they've been on our service and their loved one passed away and they say, please make a check out to Compassus. Well, really what we're going to do is we want it to go to Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. We do have a nonprofit entity within Compassus that we could send donations to, but because we're here in Tullahoma, this is where we were born, we like to keep those donations to Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation.
We appreciate it very much.
We've got it up on our webpage, our compassus.com webpage, about our 25th year celebration. We've got information up about the turkey trot. And then we have, I asked the Predators because they work with Pat, their supporters.
Predators have been very wonderful at supporting us the last 3 years that I've been on board.
Yes.
Every year.
And so they're going to give us a little swag. We don't know what it is yet. I'm going to pick it up Friday. And then Edie Remus, who is over our programs here in Tennessee, she has most graciously purchased 2 tickets to it's Arizona game. It's here in Tennessee. It's here at the Predators are playing, but it's November 13th, I think it is. But over $400 worth of tickets, 2 tickets for the 13th, I believe it is. But we're selling raffle tickets for $5, and we'll include that in whatever it is the
All right,
prize
let's
gets.
get back to this ribbon cutting, because we have 1 minute and 23 seconds left to say goodbye. Okay?
Okay.
Talk about it.
So this
There it
is on the 19th of Tuesday, the 19th of October And so from 8 to 11, you can drive by and have a cup of coffee, come by and get a cup of coffee and a donut. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
And you can
So
register for the
it's a
raffle.
drive-by coffee.
Yes, and register for the raffle.
Register for the raffle, right there.
And then we're going to take that raffle out to, on the 23rd, on that Saturday, we'll take it out to the park at Tim's Ford Park. And I have asked, I don't know if we'll be able to sell tickets once we get out there. I've got that question now. Hopefully they'll say yes. Anyway, we're going to draw for that after the race.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Girls, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. It's so important, the work that you do. And we're just glad you feel comfortable coming in and talking to us about this and letting us help you get the word out, because that's what we do, and we've been doing it a long time, and we love helping our nonprofits and our great service organizations.
Yeah.
So what we get to do right now is we need to say goodbye, and we need to say, Friday night, Tullahoma Wildcats play Montgomery Central. You be there, be in the stands. We love
Go
you.
Cats.
We'll see you next time.